Global peace is the most essential and prime need of the current world. In the current world, in the current situation, different nations, different countries, and almost all people throughout the world suffer from ongoing wars, conflicts, insurgencies, and problems. People, by the start of 21st century and even before that, people suffered from endless conflicts, war and insurgencies in Middle East, in Afghanistan, in some parts of Africa like Libya and other countries. And now people suffer from the destructive war in Ukraine and also a war and conflicts all over the world, which extremely undermine harmony, integrity, and peace among nations and all over the world. Nowadays, it's very important for all individuals, especially scholars, researchers, and eligible people to focus on ending insurgencies, conflicts, and war, and focus and spend their energy and time on ensuring on building global peace, because global peace is the basic need of the current world. Most of ongoing conflicts and war, and also the war other people in other nations witness in Middle East, in Africa, in Asia, and some countries like Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, and other countries, was started and supported by some greedy and crazy superpowers who care their interest, their own interest, but do not care the rights and interests of other nations. And they try to encourage other people and nations to start war, and they support war, but actually they do not support any nation or any country. They just want to pave the way for still the energy, incomes, belongings of other nations. That's why this is important time for all human beings to think for their future, to think for their own existence, and also for their children in the future, for the rest of their children in the future. Work together to stop the war, which tarnishes the real face of humanity, undermines the real aspect of human lives, and also extremely undermined integrity and harmony among nations and people. Now, the relationships between different people, different nations, and different countries facing with many challenges. Actually, it's very important to stop such challenges. Otherwise, such challenges will destroy the real life and the real being of all nations. To achieve global peace in the current world, all human beings, nations, and countries need to follow a few steps, which was very important and essential to stop destructive war, conflicts, insurgency, and achieve global peace, coexistence, and harmony, and also live together in a peaceful world. The first thing and the first essential requirement is the rearrangement and transformation of the global order or the world order. Actually, one of the most affecting factor that cause war, conflicts, and problems in the current world is unfair order of the world, because some greedy powers, some crazy powers which lead the current order, the current unfair order, this support insurgency, war, and conflict instead of supporting peace and coexistence. That's why all nations and all people throughout the world, regardless of cultural, religious, and geographical differences, they have to work together for the future of their common home, which is the Earth planet or the globe, because some particular greedy and crazy superpowers or powers, they try to destroy some particular areas, undermine the global peace, and tarnish the real face of humanity to achieve their illegal interests. It's very important to transform and rearrange the global world order. And the second thing, the second important requirement and step is respect of all people's and all nations' rights. some greedy powers in country, they undermine the rights of some nations, other nations, and also start war and conflict just to grab energy, money, good, and other belongings of other nations. It's not good. It's not. It is actually the main reason of many problems in the current world. And all human beings, all nations, have to respect the real rights and interests of each other and one another. And it is one of the main requirements. And also, it is very important to focus on coexistence, peaceful coexistence. Actually, by ignorance and ignoring the rights and existence of one another, people cannot achieve peace and cannot have a happy life. That's why it's very important to respect peaceful coexistence and live together in a peaceful situation. And also, all human beings, countries, and nations, especially scientists, scholars, and researchers, have to decrease their efforts on the development of war technologies and war mass killing or war technology and war facilities. And instead of that, all individuals, all people, all nations, and all scientists, scholars, and research institutions have to work on the increase and development of life and living technologies. Instead of development and increase of war technologies, all human beings, all nations, all countries, especially researchers, scientists, and scholars, have to focus on the increase of life technologies and the development of ways and technologies that enable people to continue their life peacefully. And actually, it is very important as an important requirement. All nations or people work together to limit the power of crazy politicians throughout the world, because few crazy politicians they damaged the real face of humans' life throughout the world and global peace. And just because of their wrong interactions, wrong communication, negative communication, and also their personal greed and personal interest, or maybe some national interest which belong to just their country and their people, they started support war and conflicts throughout the world. That's why it's very important for all people in all nations to control and limit the powers of crazy politicians within their nations and countries, and also all over the world. Countries who seek better life or more energy and more opportunities for their people by the destruction of other countries and other peoples, who by putting other nations and other people in endless conflicts and problems, they have to know that one day they will experience suffering and same problems. And they have to work with other nations for the achievement of global peace. And we have to work all together to save our common home, the planet Earth, and work together to achieve global peace and in the current destructive world throughout the world. I'm Dr. Abdul Qahar Sarwari from Afghanistan. We witness such kind of problems, and I know the destructive results of such war and conflicts. Thank you.